Welcome to How to Cook That. I'm Ann Reardon, and this week we are trying to replicate the recipe for Coke. That's right, the secret recipe that apparently only 2 people on Earth know, and they're not allowed to fly on a plane at the same time in case the plane crashes. That recipe we're going to try and figure out. Now, I've seen lots of old recipes that are apparently from someone's journal, and then Coke says they're not, and who knows if they are or they aren't. But inevitably, people who get all those ingredients and make them, put it all together, and then say, it doesn't taste of Coke. So I thought I'd take a completely different approach, and what I've done is I've made a whole heap of different ingredients and different fresh extracts so that then we can put those together and experiment and see if we can come up with something that tastes like Coke. So I'm going to have a go. I'm going to get James to have a go and Dave to have a go and see who can get the closest to what Coke tastes like, and then we'll give you those recipes. So first of all, what are all these extracts? Well, this is plain water because we need some water. This one here is sugar syrup. To make that, we've got equal parts of sugar and water. Just heat it up until the sugar's dissolved. Let it cool. Put it in the bottle. This one is a light caramel. So to make that, I've put the sugar and the water and a little bit of glucose syrup in a pan and heated it up just till it gets to hard crack point. Then added back in more water until we got that smooth syrup. I did the exact same thing with this one, except instead of pulling it off the pan when it was just at crack hard stage, I left it there for a bit longer so we got a deeper caramel. And the same again for this one, but this one I left it there long enough to burn, and I also added a little bit of citric acid into it in the process, which gave it that really dark colour. The reason I did that, even though I think it tastes awful, really bad, is because one of the main additives in Coke is a colour 150D, which is also a flavour, which from what I've read is made by heating sugar with an acid until it gets that deep colour and a slightly burnt sugar aroma. So who knows, that might be our secret to getting the right colour and the right flavour. Maybe not. Over here I've got a mixture based on all different recipes I've seen online for Coke. So here I've got some fresh fruit extracts. To make those, I firstly just took the fruit and grated that little outside bit of the rind off. You don't want the white, just the coloured bit of the rind. Then put that into a pan with some juice, and I'll put all these recipe amounts on the website, so if you want to make it you can. And then just heated that up until it boiled, and then left it just to sit and let all the flavour from the rind infuse into the liquid. I then just strained that. With the orange, I could just use a sieve to strain it. With the other two, with the lime and the lemon, it tended to go straight through the sieve, so I then had to use a cheesecloth to strain those so that we were left just with a liquid because we don't want chunks in the Coke. Next here we've got the spices. We've got vanilla, cinnamon and nutmeg. These ones are all from different leaves. I have heard that Coca Cola still has coca leaf in it, which is the leaf that's used to make cocaine. So I can't get coca leaf here in Australia, and I believe the US you can't get it either. And the cola bit was from cola nuts, which is where the caffeine comes from. I'm not actually going to add any caffeine because that's not actually going to affect the flavour. I'm just after the flavour, and if you want to add caffeine later, you can. But back to the coca leaf. The coca leaf that they use now has been decocainized, in other words, the cocaine component taken out, and then apparently they still use it for the flavour. From what I can find online, it doesn't taste of a whole lot. Someone said it tastes a bit like green tea. So I do have some green tea that I have stewed up here, which doesn't look green, of course. But then I also got a couple of other leaves just to see if a different leaf, fresh leaf flavour would be better. So this is fresh bay leaves that have then been boiled up, pureed and strained. And this is fresh kaffir lime leaves as well. So given all of these, I'm going to see if we can mix it together and make anything that tastes something like Coke. Here we go. Whoa.
I think I'm gonna start by just smelling each of them. still just tastes like water.
So are all these in Coke?
Not necessarily. So there's various theories and recipes people have come up with.
So if I
it just
search
says
the
flavour.
ingredients... Oh, that's tricky.
So as long as it's from a natural source, it can just say flavour. So, but see, the sugar is interesting because that would just be on the label as sugar, but you can have all different flavours of your sugar depending what you do with it.
Oh, wow.
So it can change the flavour. Have fun.
More. It's alive! Oh, yuck. It's not quite Coke yet.
While Dave tries to figure out that recipe, I'd like to say a big thank you to today's sponsor, Word Farm Adventure. It's an iOS and Android game and it's got two parts to it. The first part, let me show you here, is a word game where you have the letters down the bottom and you have to make them into words and fit them into the puzzle up the top. So it's a bit like unscrambling all the letters. I really enjoy word games, so I really like this part. And once you complete a puzzle, so you've got all of the words done, then you get golden shovels and coins and you can use those in the other part of the game. So in the other part of the game you get to fix and decorate different areas. I'm up to the farmhouse area and if I scroll across you can see that some of the rooms are done but others of them obviously still need a lot of work. So if we click on the list down in the bottom corner it tells you what needs doing next and then you can choose from the options it gives you what style you want to decorate your farmhouse in so that it looks how you want it to be. Jed really enjoys playing this game too, which is great. I like it when they enjoy games that seem a little bit more educational than some of them are. You can get Word Farm Adventure on iOS and Android and I'll put a link below to where you can download it for free and start enjoying it today.
She did say I could add anything I wanted, so...
So, my final recipe had a mixture of the dark caramel syrup, the light caramel syrup, and a fair amount of just the regular sugar syrup in order to get it as sweet. In one of mine, I put in a bit of cinnamon, but that didn't work at all. I had a bit of bay leaf, tiny bit of orange, some green tea, but I'm not sure if the green tea even made a difference. I think the biggest difference between my first and second one was using the tartaric acid instead of the citric acid. I found the citric acid just made it taste too lemony, like it was a lemonade or a Fanta or something.
So the mix that I finished on has water, obviously, tartaric acid, I felt that citric acid was the wrong flavour, 2 tiny drops of salt in it, lots of the burnt caramel, which tastes horrible on its own, but once you add more sugar kind of gives that Coke flavour. Some of the light caramel, so this one. Some of the sugar syrup, obviously we needed more sugar in there. A little bit of bay leaf, that was just the perfect flavour, the fresh bay leaf, I really liked that. A little bit of the green tea. And then I felt like it was missing something, like it had this slight floral note that I was familiar with from honey, but I didn't want the honey flavour. So I went out in the garden and got just 5 heads of lavender, put it in some boiling water and got this lovely purple little lavender liquid and I added a few drops of that in there as well and I think that's as close as I'm going to get. I'm not convinced that the acid is 100% right because they don't use tartaric acid. I did order some of the acid that they use, but it just hasn't arrived, and being in lockdown, I can't get to any shops that sell that sort of thing. So this is as close as I can get. I reckon it's pretty good.
Cheers.
Tastes like Coke.
Tastes like Coke. Yeah.
I think we're all in agreement that's the real Coke. Okay, number 2. I'm thinking this must have a heap of burnt caramel in it to get it to be this colour, but let's see.
Oh, such a fragrance.
It
tastes like Coke.
It tastes like green tea!
and cinnamon.
Wow, was that yours?
It might have been.
How did you get the colour so dark?
It's a secret. It's pretty good.
That tastes pretty close.
Let me taste this.
I'm gonna need to taste the original again.
That's pretty good.
It's a bit less sweet than Coke, I think. Coke's a bit sweeter, but the flavour's not bad.
You're right, it is a little bit more acidic. But it's definitely cola, I guess.
Yeah, I feel like I'm tasting lemon, but I reckon that's the colour.
Which one tastes more like Coke?
The clear one.
This one's awesome.
This one is winning so far. Okay, next.
That one tastes more caramel than Coke.
Hard to tell.
How can I have cheated and mine still tastes worse than the other two?
How did you cheat?
Yeah,
What did you do?
nothing.
How did you cheat?
I don't know, black food colouring.
black boot polish.
So you're saying you cheated and ours tastes more like Coke than yours does?
Yes.
Dave is not a flavour developer.
This one, I don't know. It's definitely got too much of caramel. Like you can taste
maybe.
the caramel in it.
You can. Bit too much of a caramel note to it.
That could be mine. I did put a lot of the caramel one in.
This one's very close, except the acidity is just too high.
Too high.
But it's kind of there.
It might just be the different type of acid.
It might be. That's pretty close. I think this one's the closest.
I think so, yeah.
So number 3, that was James.
James.
Hey!
Hey.
There you go. Cheers.
Number 2 was definitely Dave. Now tell us, what was your secret ingredient?
My secret ingredient in Coke was Pepsi.
How does it taste?
Just of green tea and cinnamon.
Well, I put those in as well.
Right.
Green tea, cinnamon, and Pepsi syrup.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much to all my patrons for your support. Make sure you let the algorithm know if you liked this video by liking, commenting, sharing and subscribing. Make it a great week and we'll see you on Friday.
Au revoir.
Bye-bye.
Yours is horrible. It is.